Yes, men also suffer gender-based violence. Yeah, but a lot of them bottle it up because the society, our communities portray men as predators or strong, and the society considers men who express their emotions as weak. So a lot of men bottle it up and suffer till they die. But personally, I have seen men who go through financial abuse, as most of them are considered by their partners or their wives to be cash cows. Yeah, and a lot of them do go through emotional abuse as well. This is evident through verbal abuse and also through sexual deprivation, like when their partners deprive them of sex as a form of punishment. So there are other things like this that men do go through. No matter who the victim is, gender-based violence is a no-no. Actually, it is believed that gender-based violence is one of the most common forms of human rights violations in the world. So we all have to stand together and say no, red card to gender-based violence. Hello, beautiful people. You're most welcome to Footprints with Betswell. Thank you so much for joining. Today, we are going to talk gender-based violence. We're going to talk about men as victims of gender-based violence. We're going to talk about some different forms of gender-based violence. We are going to talk about societal norms, gender biases, and other forms of inequality that nourish gender-based violence and abuse in our communities. For our gender-based violence conversations today, we have a very, very special guest in the house. I call her Mommy Bell or Queen Bell or Mama Advocate. Please join me to welcome Bell Sonki, founder and promoter of the Network for Solidarity, Hope and Development. She is a social justice advocate. She's a daughter, a mother, a friend, a wife. She stands the gap for so many people, and she wears all these hats graciously. I'm so happy to have her on the platform today. You too, thank you so much for joining. Please stay glued, watch, like, comment, and please share. Wow, thank you so much. I choose to call you Mama Advocate because I see you doing a lot of good work for people out there, especially I've seen your work on abuse, rape, and stuff like that. So that's why I really thought you were the best person to talk to as we go on to talk about gender violence. So thank you so much for agreeing to do this. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. So the first question.
It was a pleasure to be on your platform.
All right. The first question I'd like us to talk about is, gender-based violence. I want you to paint a picture. What is gender-based violence? So let's just have a general idea of what that is. Yeah.
Okay. Gender-based violence is any violence directed to an individual or a person based on his or her biological, sex or gender. It could be physical, emotional, or how do you say it? Psychological. It's not, like sometimes people say gender-based violence is directed only to women. No, it's any violence that is directed to an individual based on their biological sex or ID.
Yeah. So wait, is financial abuse part of gender-based violence? I'm just curious.
Financial abuse is part
How does that connect to gender? How does that connect to gender?
Connect to gender? Like when you go around, you see that a lot of women or sometimes men who are financially dependent on their partners, are being abused financially. So that's the reason. It means that the other partner has that financial capability and that power. And they're using it against their partner. It could be a woman or a man.
Yeah.
So because some women will use it. You are a man. You need to do this. Blah 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 blah. Because of gender norms.
Yeah.
Because of these gender norms, sometimes
the stereotypes
use our partners. Yeah.
Talk about gender biases or societal norms, gender inequalities. These, right, are like the foundation and the fertilizer on which gender-based violence is constructed. You hear things like women are victims, women are weaklings, women are dependents, women are object, property. You hear things like men are strong, men are predators, men cannot or men should not cry, men are providers and should never fall short. All these crazy things that go around. Women are nagging, women are talkative. It just goes on, and these are the things that fuel gender-based violence. So we have to learn to operate from a point of justice, not just on the point of what gender roles are supposed to be, because these things are the cause of a lot of problems in our country.
So, but generally, every time the world hears about gender-based violence, they think about women. Is it true that women are most preyed on? And why? Why is it so? Why do you think it's so?
I think they say women are more preyed because it is often said that lack of economic resources generally makes women particularly vulnerable to violence. That is it. They look at the gender-based violence. They look at the vulnerability of the person, and they note has been taken that more women are economically unempowered, so that is why they face a lot of violence from their partners. So that's a situation. And gender, how do you say, gender norms, stereotypes.
Yeah, and I think that's why there's this whole empowerment talk, like trying to push women to be able to, because like you said, financial dependence for an adult is really an issue, and it can make you to be subject to a lot of things, and that's why I think the whole idea of women empowerment is to make women to know that they have to be financially able to take care of themselves. So that if you're in a situation that someone needs to abuse you, it shouldn't be because, you can't live on your own, you can't cope on your own. At least that shouldn't be the reason. It should just be that the person is just who he is. Yeah. But like you mentioned, even men too go through gender-based violence. I was watching a video one time, and generally women always have this talk, like if he's attacking you, or if he's offensive towards you, you can just kick him in the genital. It's going to hurt him really bad. So I think a lot of women use that against men. So it's true. I also believe that a lot of men do go through gender-based violence. So we just want to state here that every time you hear gender-based violence, maybe women are more suffer it more, but it's not just about the women. Even the men also go through it, and we are here to say gender-based violence, no matter whom it's directed towards, it's violence, and we need to stop. Because everyone has a right to live and live freely, and we don't have the right to push anyone to some kind of depression and stuff like that. Anyway, we're going to talk about the consequences of this gender-based violence later. But for now, I just want to find out. Some people say most men go through emotional and financial abuse, but women go through emotional, physical, and all the rest. I just want you to spell it out. Some people think some kind of violence is easier to manage than others. What's your take on that? Someone just mentioned to me today, this morning, she said,
it's just so funny how people think.
1 minute. Somebody mentioned to me this morning and said, if your life is not threatened, then you can as well manage. That's what a lady told me this morning. Yeah. So what's your take on that? Yeah.
That is a mistake a lot of people make. A lot of people make that mistake, thinking that, for violence to be, you need it to be visible for it to be really threatening. No. You need when I say visible, it means that you want to see the blue eye, you want to see a broken rib, you want to see, no, that's not the worst form of violence. The worst form of violence is the emotional, which affects your mental health. It affects your mental health so badly. And this is something that goes unnoticed. You die inside for so many years, and everybody is like, oh, you have everything, you are worried, you this, you that. No. It's never. Sometimes the physical violence is a one-time thing. It's a one-time thing. But the emotional one, it's something that builds up over years, over weeks, over months and days. So you dying inside slowly. Some people, they don't get out of bed, and you start asking yourself what happened. Oh, she was not knowing what this person was going through. That is the most dreaded form of violence, and deadly. It is very deadly. But because nobody notices it, nobody will even talk about it. Nobody will even talk about it. Unlike the physical one that everybody sees and say, oh yes, everybody supports you. Say, yeah, we saw him beat you. But the emotional one, nobody sees it. Nobody talks about it. So that is the dread, it's the dreaded form of violence. Emotional, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. And just like you're talking, it affects the mental health. And a lot of people who suffer depression and they live a very broken life and all of that. But, like in our communities, African communities, Cameroonian communities, mental health is not really a thing. When you say mental health, they're like, we have been through hell and back, or we are still standing. So is mental health even a reality? Maybe you've gotten the opportunity to work. How many cases of emotional abuse are being reported? Like to people like you who are advocates? Have you ever met someone who tells you like, he doesn't beat me up or she doesn't physically abuse me, but I'm traumatized? How many people really have the courage to come out and say that?
They do. The more we're talking now about different forms, because, initially, I want to take, for example, in our parents' days, abuse was normalized. A man beating the wife, it was just normal. Like a man staying in the house, a woman staying in the house, and a man brings in a second wife, the woman will not speak. She will be dying inside slowly and things like that. Sometimes, how do I say it? You see some mothers in particular, I want to take the generation of my mom, that generation. The mom was so frustrated, and the children were victims of their frustration because they vented all their frustration on their kids. Yeah, they vented all their frustrations. Child abuse was so, the children face a lot of physical abuse because of their parents, their mothers in particular.
Do you think that if someone actually, for example, you go to your parents and you tell them, oh, I'm tired of this marriage because this man or this woman, especially if it's a man, because for men, it's harder for men to come out because they feel like it's more shameful. People are going, what are people going to say? That I'm not strong enough to handle my affairs. So do you think if a man actually comes forth and says, I'm done with this marriage because my wife abuses me emotionally, how do you think the world is? Do we have to? How is the reaction going to be? Yeah.
I think, I will tell you something. I've been holding space for men and women. I remember this man who came, the person was trembling the day they were telling me. This man was abusing the wife and, physically abusing the wife. And we were all against this man for his abuse. But one day this man opened up to us, my husband and myself, telling us he caught the wife red-handed in their matrimonial room with a man. Not bed. The woman was naked in the bathroom, and this man was hiding in the in the cupboard or in the parlor, something like that. So you can imagine, I felt sorry for this man. This man was trembling when he was talking. But then I realized that this man has been going through this for a while, but we never noticed it. He was being so aggressive to the woman, will physically abuse this woman, and the woman will come and complain that I was physically abused. Even when, and we're talking of this situation happening in Europe, not even in Africa. We try to put the woman to know that she has rights and things like that, and the woman never, ever reported. The woman, we begged the woman to want to have a lawyer, but not knowing the truth beneath.
And that's what a lot of people say. The people say you'll just see the man and his reaction, but the woman is more the one. She will come and complain, but the man will hardly ever complain to anybody because he just wants to contain it. Yeah, so the impression is always the woman who is the victim. And you keep wondering, but why is she not reporting it? A lot of people are asking, but why is she staying in the abusive marriage? Why is she not reporting it?
There's so much.
But anyway,
like for me, it's like I hold space for men and women. And I will tell you something. I will never tell you, leave your abuser. I will guide you. I will guide you on drawing healthy boundaries in your relationship.
All right.
Which is one of the reasons. Yeah, this is one of the reasons. Be it a man or a woman, you need to draw healthy boundaries in your relationship. There are some people who don't know what it means to have a healthy relationship. That is why this in abuse, because this is the only thing they've known. They've seen it. They've seen their parents abuse their mothers. You know, like things like that. They've known only abuse. You know, so they don't even know what it means to have a healthy relationship. So the only other thing is like taking them for therapy, asking them to go through therapy, holding space for them, talking with them. You know, like I know this tendency we women, society has gone up, but you wearing the shoe, you know what is right for you.
Yeah.
You alone, you are wearing the shoe and you know what is good for you. I would not tell you to leave a relationship. These are some of the challenges we have, because where are they living to go? They don't have resources. They don't have resources. Are you ready to support them? Can you house them in your place? You don't have space for them. So why are you telling them to go? The only challenge I usually have is like, you know, like people learning to have a healthy relationship.
Yeah, and it's worked. It's been working over the years. It's been working. It's actually been a solution. Okay, but I just want to ask you this other quick question. Is there a justification for abuse? Because just like you're saying, a man will say, she insulted me, she talks too much, and that's why I beat her up. And the woman will say, oh, he's very nonchalant, he doesn't take care of his responsibilities, and that's why I insult him and I emotionally abuse him. So do you think there's a justification for abuse?
I would tell you, you know, like we are all emotional beings. We are all emotional, whether you like it or not. You know, it's to be
sorry to interrupt you. It's just like what they say. That lady was raped because she was improperly dressed. You know, society always comes up with these excuses to justify abuse.
No.
So I'm wondering, does it make sense to actually justify abuse of any kind?
No. For me, it's not especially physical abuse. For me, these are things that could be avoided. I know emotional abuse is sometimes so, you know, like that's why I'm talking of, we are all emotional beings. We all react differently. There's some people who give you the silent treatment for something you did, you know, like, but you know, like that's why we keep on, why we are advocating, we're talking about communication. And not every kind of communication, because, you know, like in relationships, you have to know that it takes two to tango. I was reading this morning, they say 13 reasons why women or whatsoever about men. And I'm like, no, in a relationship, it takes two people. I am not that person who will say women should do this for a relationship to work. Men should do this for a relationship to work. It takes two people. It takes two people to make a relationship work. There are men who will nag. There are men who give their wives ultimatums, because among one of the lists they will say women give men ultimatums, women nag, women do this. No, these are reasons, you know, like these are some, when you put together, you have some men who are so nagging, you have some men who give you the woman, you know, like, yeah, no, let's be honest. You have some men who are so petty like women. They say this thing is for women. You have some men who talk, they have verbal diarrhea, just like women. Seriously, this generation of men, you have some who are, they talk more than the women. You have some of them who talk more than the women. You have some who don't have respect for women, who wants to tolerate a man, a badly brought up man who does not have respect for women. I am a man, meaning what? I birthed you, I am a woman. So do I have to talk to you anyhow because I'm a woman who carries you for 9 months? No. We talk about respect for your partner. You need to learn how to respect your partner. You need to learn how to communicate with your partner. And when I'm talking about communication, it's like you ask questions, you don't question your partner. asking question is one thing. That is, like, this is a difference, because somebody was like, oh, I was just asking question. How did you ask the question? Were you questioning her, or you were asking for a solution? Because it's like, like, for example, I'll tell you you have two ways of communication. When you start questioning your partner, it means you're accusing them. But when you ask for questions, you want to get some clarification. That's you see that I talked about. I'm talking about the communication style, which is very important. It is very important. Couples need to understand that it takes two to tango. It's like a partnership in business. You cannot come and impose whatsoever to your business partner. I'm sorry. It's just that in business, there's financial transaction that is involved. There's financials that is involved. And like a couple, you complete each other.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mommy Belle, for agreeing to be with us today. We'll definitely have you back subsequently for other discussions on the way forward for victims of gender-based violence and other issues concerning gender-based violence and abuse. You, my lovies, thank you so much for staying to the end. Thank you so much. Please leave your comments down below. Tell us what you think about this issue. If you have any issues you'd like us to discuss, please send us a message. Remember, Footprints is a platform for your opinion, our opinion, and the facts. These things we bring forward to effect change in our community. So please do not be left out. Thank you so much. Please stay glued to Footprints for videos like this and other videos on lifestyle issues, cultural issues, and faith-related issues from Cameroon and elsewhere. Bye. Au revoir.